Did it go live?
Yes, we're live.
Oh, didn't tell me.
Just a little surprising for a Friday morning.
Yes, it is. Good morning. It's 9 a.m. Friday, August 23rd, 2024. Welcome to the Good News Live at 9 on Facebook and later available on our YouTube channel. Please comment in the chat so we know you're with us. This is a presentation of the Allen Park Presbyterian Church. Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzan Maxey, and my co-host, Kerri Van, among other things. She's very talented, and she wears many hats, but the top two in my book is she's a woman of faith and my friend. So good morning, friend.
Good morning, friend. It's nice to see you on this beautiful Friday morning. And I hope you're well, and I hope all of our guests who will be watching are well today and have a great day. Good morning to Deanna. She has commented thus far. If you don't comment, we don't know you're watching, so
That's right. So please
don't be shy. Don't be shy.
let us know you're there, please.
Yes. It's hard to believe, Sue. I've been working on Halloween stuff.
I know.
It's summer's over.
It's not officially over yet, but yeah.
Going so fast. Going so fast. So we just need to throw a few Christmas things in and we'll be all set. Good morning, Amy, Joan, Patty, Norma. Good morning, all who are watching. So what is going on around the church?
Well, you're doing something right after the show. You're going to bop out, right?
That's right. As soon as I shut this lid on this laptop, I'm going to be heading over to do ChristNet lunches with our ChristNet team. We've been doing that for a long time now. We do it the first and fourth Friday of every month. So looking forward to working with my crew. Sometimes I'm not there due to other commitments, so I'm very much looking forward to being there today. Always a really rewarding and great experience. So if you're interested in helping, you can always have more crew. Can never have enough crew, right, Sue?
Nope, never have enough crew.
Another thing that's nipping at our heels is our blood drive. We are well known for having successful blood drives. So if you can give blood on September 6th, please sign up. There's some posts on our social media. And if you don't have the link, and if you have given blood, our code is APPC, our sponsor code. So please sign up and give blood in our fellowship building. We need you. Very important. Very, very important. Another spring thing that's happening is Norma Bentley has scheduled our online grief support classes. We have loss of a spouse, a 13-week grief recovery group, and surviving the holidays. All that information is available on our website under the ministries tab. And if you know someone who is mourning the loss of a loved one, please direct them to that tab. It's very easy to do grief share online. It gives you a little bit of control. If you need to take a moment, you can just shut your screen off, right?
Yep.
All right. Yes, Amy Barman, who's one of the team leaders for ChristNet, said we could definitely use some more crew. A lot of us can't go every single week, or every time we go, so it's good to have a rotation. It's a very fun thing to do. If you're interested, just let me know, or talk to Amy or Nancy Atkinson. All right, so we have an exciting guest today, so we should keep going. What's going on in the city, Sue?
Well, there's the farmers market, and that runs from today from 3 to 7, right across the street from the church in the parking lot at Harrison and Park. And the featured food truck today is Egg Roll Diva.
Sounds like a really
The
popular
lady there
one.
with the egg rolls. Like, yum. I like egg rolls.
Yep, she is going to be there, and it looks like a really popular food truck, so be sure you stop by. Also, another Chrissy's Homemade will be at the farmers market showcasing her rolled out cookies, and she has all new flavors with free samples. So you can go to Egg Roll Diva, shop at all the vendors, and go to Chrissy's Homemade and get a balloon by our friend Steve Donahue. All at the farmers market today.
And they have, the other things that are at the farmers market, produce and plants and whatever else they have at the farmers market usually.
Exactly. It's a great place to stop by. It's right across the street from the church. Yep, Norma said can't help with the lunches today, wish I could. Norma does help, but she has a commitment that she has to do today, and we will see her next time for sure.
And near the end of next month, which is just going to be here really soon.
Just like that.
Yep, September 28th. There's the Lincoln Park Fall Fair and Car Show. That takes a bit to say.
Yes, it
It
does.
takes place on Saturday, September 28th, and I believe I have a flyer here. And that is from 10 to 4. And it's at Lincoln Park Presbyterian Church. You can see there's all kinds of stuff going on. And that is the church that our guest is from. So I think we should bring her in so we can ask her more. How about that?
I think let's do it. We're going to be talking with Reverend Kerri Hildebrandt from Lincoln Park Presbyterian Church.
Hey,
Good morning.
good morning.
And we need to apologize to our brothers and sisters at Lincoln Park Pres if Pastor Kerri is not her usual high octane self, because she is missing her CrossFit training to be with us. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Glad to be here. In good news, I went at 6 a.m. this morning.
Oh my goodness.
Of course you did, Kara. Of course you
Now,
did.
I have coffee.
Yes, that's why they call her the CrossFit pastor.
Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. So how did you get into CrossFit? And for those of us who may not even know what CrossFit is, what is it?
So, CrossFit is all about varied workouts, and it's working across the body and across skills. So I do a little bit of everything. So I may not be the greatest runner in the world, but I can run and lift weights. And I started, it's been, is it 13 years now? What year is this? No, I started
Yeah,
it
who
in
knows?
12 years. It's been 12 years. I started in 2012
Oh.
down in Kentucky, where I was a pastor there, and I loved it. Like, it gave me life. It gave me energy in ways that I had never had it before, and it helped me build strength. And so I've just kept up with it every day a little bit better. When I started, that's the other thing I love about it, is it starts where you are and then moves you from there. And so I became stronger. I went from, oh, look, I can't deadlift 25 pounds to, okay, 200. There it is.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Remind me not to fight you.
Right. So I looked it up and I see that you've been a pastor at Lincoln Park since 2014, but you mentioned being a pastor in Kentucky. Tell us about that and how you ended up in Lincoln Park with us.
I was a pastor down in Bowling Green, Kentucky, an associate pastor. I did a lot for the most part, my focus was Christian ed. And so it came to be time to move on, and to it's one of those things, your call, you kind of know when it's coming to a completion and it's time to move on to the next. And I came to Lincoln Park in 2014, and what was fascinating about Lincoln Park was they had a meeting, a congregational meeting, right around the time they interviewed me, where they got real. They were like, do we really want something different, or do we want the same old, same old? And I thought, oh,
That's
like,
hard.
and yeah, and like they went into detail about that. They said it was like a 2-hour congregational meeting of getting real with that. And so they decided as a congregation, they really did want something different. And so they called
You were the
me.
difference, eh?
I was a difference, yes.
So how were
And
you different?
in trying all kinds of new things, it's like, let's try it. Why not? I was different in the way that I preach. I write a manuscript, but I don't use a manuscript. I'm always thinking of, all right, what can we try next? What haven't we tried? What might work? What kind of resonates with people? So nothing's kind of off the table.
And that is correct. I have been to Lincoln Park with our youth group, with our band, Kara is so high energy. She blames it all on CrossFit, but I have a feeling that could be a gift God just gave her. Very, very high energy.
Yeah.
Worship is always exciting when she's up there. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Were you raised Presbyterian, Kara?
I was not. I was raised Church of Christ, the fundamentalist Church of Christ, where they don't have musical instruments and women are not allowed in leadership positions. And so I even went to Lipscomb University for my undergrad and my first master's degree, which is affiliated. And it was there that I was like, well, by the time I'd gotten there, I was like, I don't know about this stuff. And so while I was there, I was like, I don't think I believe in God, or maybe I do, but maybe I'm more of a deist. Maybe I'm more in the agnostic deist kind of camp. Okay, I think there's a God. And it was interesting, like, right, all of those pieces of questioning and there it was I had a professor, well, I had multiple professors that had conversations with me. And one of them was like, there's this thing called grace. And I was like, really? What is
Hmm.
grace? And, and he was like, yeah, like, have you ever read Romans? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I've read it all like multiple times. And he's like, no, look. And I was like, oh, nothing can separate us from the love of God. And so that began the journey into the Presbyterian Church, just that questioning. And
Wow.
then went to Vanderbilt for my Master of Divinity, and it's not affiliated with any denomination. And I knew that if I came out of there, that I was still Presbyterian, that it was real. Like that's where I was supposed to be. So here I am.
And you have recently this year gone back to Louisville Seminary. What are you doing there?
I'm working on a doctorate, a doctor of ministry. Shorthand is demon.
Amen.
Yes,
Which is kind of funny, right?
it is. And we like saying that. I mean, because it gives us a chuckle. And there I am studying. My focus, which I choose, is that I'm looking at the digital church, not just as its own entity, but digital church connected to the physical church. And how do we bridge that? How do we bridge it theologically? How do we bridge it practically? How do those worlds collide? And that my theory is that if we do that, we are then able, if the physical church can reach into and create the space of the digital church, and together that it can be then reaching across generations to build community. So
The
that's my
pandemic sure taught us a lot about the digital church, didn't it?
yes, we got lots of upgrades immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of forced into it.
Yes, we did too. Things that we wouldn't say argue, but did Presbyterian discussions about for so many years, all of a sudden we were able to get and we were able to reach new members as well as members who were in different locations in the country.
Yeah. And like it was easier to try things. So even though my congregation has always been like, whatever you want to try, you want to set things on fire. I mean, as long as you don't set yourself totally on fire, like, we're cool with that. But then all of a sudden it was like all of the barriers came off. And so doing like prayers, just short little prayers, doing short little videos really seemed to resonate with people in a completely different way. My guess is this kind of came out of all of that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
this came out of the fact that Sue served on our session for many, many years on evangelism, which is
Mhm.
kind of a sticky wicket to begin with. And she just felt like, did I reach anyone? And
Yeah,
I'm like, well, why don't we just start a talk show? And then we're free. We
right.
can like talk to anyone we want. And we've been doing this for a long time now. And we don't have any barriers. We'll interview anyone.
Yeah.
So we feel like this is a good way to reach the community, other churches, other people, other cities, everything. So, and I know you do podcasts a lot. I've watched a lot of your podcasts, and that
Yeah.
reaches people too.
Yeah. And to recognize that across different, like whatever medium you're putting your stuff in reaches yet a different demographic. And so, which, are you trying to hit all the demographics, you know? And so where do you put stuff? Well, you've got to put it in the podcast. You've got to put it on YouTube. You've got to put it on Instagram. It's got to be on Facebook so that it covers, it goes across. And that it's fascinating to watch the algorithm kind of play with that, but then the analytics on the other side of, okay, well, that resonated on YouTube, but it didn't on Facebook, or vice versa. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you're talking my world. Now you're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
what I do.
Well,
Absolutely.
that kind of went right
Yes.
over my head, but okay.
Yeah, I can get lost just in Google Analytics alone. How many people have gone to the website? Where are they doing? What are they searching? Yeah.
Yes.
Fun nerd stuff, right, Kara?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Sue had an interesting question for you. If you didn't take the path you did, what do you think you would be doing if you weren't a pastor?
I was on track to be a corporate lawyer.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I think you
Yeah.
would have excelled at that as well.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Presbyterian pastors, there's a number of people who cross between one and the other of law and church. It's kind of an interesting mix. But yeah, like I was set to go to law school, and I I had this deep, unsettled feeling every time I went to hit send my applications in. Took the LSAT, had everything, the applications filled out, and I would feel sick. And so I was like, I got to figure out what this is about. And so through talking with other professors and describing it and saying, maybe I'm not supposed to go to law school. And one of them was like, don't waste your mind on that. Now, did he mean go into the church? That's a whole different subject. But then I was like, all right, why did I look at law schools where they had a Master of Divinity? Because you could do where you could slam them together, and it was 5 years instead of the 6. And I was like, maybe I need to pay attention to this Master of Divinity. So I did my Master of Education while I was trying to figure out whether or not to go to divinity school.
Oh, that was at least smart. And it's smart that you listen to your inner feelings about it,
Yeah, like
because your life could be so much different. You probably have a lot more money, but would you have peace? And how much grace is there in that field? You know what I mean?
yeah, I think I would have tapped into my more intense side of I've said this from when I'm preaching. If I had gone into corporate law, I would have eaten businesses for lunch.
I do. I don't doubt that at all.
No
Right.
doubt at all.
Like it would have tapped into something. So yeah, like figuring out the whole grace thing and mercy and forgiveness and what brings peace. I mean, that peace is worth a lot.
I agree.
I mean, we think about how much, okay, a corporate lawyer, yeah, I would have made more money. But peace is it's worth more.
I agree with that. I find grace easier to find sometimes than peace. I'm always seeking peace, and I find it very elusive. But grace, I've been involved with church for a long time. I find easier sometimes. So
Yeah.
peace is definitely something to worth to be worth the seeking.
Yeah, and that it takes all kinds of practices to do it. So I think the last year I'm building even more practices of meditation. I've had the prayer, but the meditation, and what do I focus in my meditation on that kind of helps center and bring down the whole stress levels so that I'm tapping into that peace, because it's like when we tap into the peace, we get a greater sense of where God is guiding. So that's been the weird thing. Like I would say peace has been elusive for me, uh, very elusive for decades. However, it was an overwhelming peace that said ministry. It was an overwhelming piece of it's Lincoln Park. Like it's interesting. It was overwhelming piece when it was, this is the doctorate, this is the place. So it's been it pops up like, but it has to really get my attention. And so now I'm like, you know what? I need to practice this more on a daily basis.
It's good advice. Definitely good advice. I'm sure there's others watching who feel that way. Nobody has asked any questions, probably because you've been answering them as you're talking about them. Very good. Now, recently we did a really cool thing. We
Mhm.
had that joint worship experience. We'd love to hear what you thought about it. I think Sue has a picture, pictures here and there, but wasn't that a great high energy weekend? We'd love to hear your take on it.
It was amazing. Yeah, it felt I was running on a high after that worship service, after we had the workshop the day before. I think I slept like a good couple of hours on Sunday afternoon because it was so high energy. I think it gave us a lot to think about, and it was so nice for our 4 congregations to be together. It it gave us something to think about, and I've been trying to reiterate some of it. The 2 lines from the workshop that I think are really important, and I've been trying to reinforce them in the congregation here, is that one is, would you rather be right or would you rather be together? And you think about that, like, do you want to be together or do you want to be right? Like, we should be struggling with that. And then the second one is about God's will. Like, is that God's will that we do this? Is it God's will? And so that has been a real focus. In fact, that's been a lot of the focus of my meditation recently. What is God's will? Help me to understand God's will. So that weekend, I think was transformative for a lot of us. And I felt like it gave a sense to the 4 congregations that we can do stuff together. Like,
Absolutely.
there's new possibility.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like we don't have to be separate. We're not in competition. And so how can we be doing things together that, wow, it feels better. And it feels more like the community that Jesus is trying to draw together. I thought it was important the way Andrew walked us through the design process, the design theory process, design thinking, and how do you deal with problems, right? You've got an issue, you've got a problem, there's something you want to solve. Well, here's a process. Let's walk through it together and move through it. And I thought that was really quite powerful. And it'll be fun. I'm hoping that the 4 congregations, we could do it with maybe a common problem that we all 4 have. And okay, let's get us in a room. And how do we each start thinking about and solving that kind of together?
That was what I got out of that, especially was the thing about the prototype. And it sounds like you've been doing it all along. It's like, you think there's something that try it and see if it works.
Right.
If it doesn't, then okay, throw it away, start over again. But just try it and see if it see if it flies. So
Yeah, but I have never tried it. I've always just tried it. I've never built a prototype, like a physical,
okay.
sitting at a table prototype of how do I solve this problem?
Physical thing, eh?
Physical thing. And I thought okay, that makes you use a different part of the brain. And so I thought that was a really cool step to add in with it.
Well, I know me, I don't know if you know or not, I'm a graphic designer. So I'm a very visual person, and I have to design something that is someone else's vision. And a lot of times they can't even tell me what they want, what's in their head or whatever. So I have to try to imagine what they're thinking and then put it out on paper so that they can see it. And sometimes I get, oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. Or I get, no, that's not what especially if they try to tell me, oh, it's got to have this here and this corner and this. If they really try to tell me exactly what they want, it's usually not. When they see it, they go, no, I don't like that. I put my and they go, oh, much better. So
yeah,
I'm a visual person. So when you just talk about something, it's like, let's do something. I want something physical in front of me. So so of course that's what I would have gotten out of the workshop.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it helped with the fears, right? Because in the church, right, we get fearful. And well, I mean, people in life in general get fearful. But okay, so let's just build it at the table. We're not restructuring the whole system yet. Let's just build it at the table. What does this look like? And so I thought it helped lower that anxiety a little bit. Like there wasn't as much to lose. I mean, we should always be willing to take calculated risk, but I thought it was a nice way to go about it.
So, the four of you pastors, are you cooking up some more ideas for collaborating? And can you give us a sneak peek?
So we are still meeting, and we're going to continue to meet. But it's kind of like, okay, what is the next step? And so we've got a meeting next week of kind of what can we do together? I know I've got some things in my brain percolating about, okay, what can we do together that kind of makes sense? You know, because we all have strengths, we all have limitations. And so, what is something we can do together that actually plays on all of the strengths and is something new? It is something kind of, why not try it? Let's see what happens. So, I don't want to reveal anything now because I haven't revealed it to them.
Hey, we
Oh, you don't
tried.
want to tell us.
tried.
Huh?
We
Right.
tried.
Right, but you can expect, I think, to start hearing stuff because we were talking about like what's our next gathering? Like, do we get our leadership together? Do we do a Saturday of a couple of hours of working on something together? So I mean, we are definitely playing with all of that.
That sounds really exciting. And what I do for a living is I always want people to be together and support each other. So I've been doing my part by supporting community type events and different things amongst all the churches. And we've been supporting your movie discussion, The Chosen.
Yeah.
And we wanted you, before you leave, talk about your fall fair and car show, because I know that that's a big event for your church.
It is. It's a huge event. And I appreciate you promoting, sharing all of that. And we've been trying to share different things when we get the information.
Right.
But you guys have been great about getting information over. So being able to share that in our bulletin.
Yep, and we're doing grief share, and I've shared it with everyone because it's online and anybody from anywhere can go. So I mean, at least we're starting like opening up communications, and why not support each other at our big events and things that are going on.
Right. Not right. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So our fall fair, it is a very big deal. It's one of our biggest events that we do. And this year it is Saturday, September 28th. And our car show, anybody can bring their car. Just show up, whatever car you want to show. There have been times where we've had more than 50 cars, and they run from early 1900s to recent, everything. And please feel free to bring that car or to just come out and to enjoy the car show. We've also got the bake sale. We've got jewelry, the basket and quilt raffles. That's a pretty big aspect of it. We have all kinds of baskets to raffle off, and we have 4 quilts to raffle this year of different sizes and patterns. They are made by people in the congregation or friends of the congregation. And then the food truck. Oh my goodness. Last year was our first year for this food truck, and Selly's food truck. If you haven't tried it, you need to try it. Like that burger and fries was amazing. And food's really important to me. And so I don't just think anything's amazing, but Selly's food truck, very, very good. And so please come out and join. It is just a really fun time. We just enjoy each other. We've got music playing outside. I mean, it's a good time.
All right, well, you have definitely made that more enticing than I have, and I do apologize to my people. So if you don't have that on your calendar, September 28th, put it on there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we are definitely getting to the end of our time. This went so fast, we could talk to you for hours, Kara.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
well, if I keep up the 6 a.m. on Fridays, then, this makes it a little easier.
Yes, there we go. Well, we're booking guests now through the first 2 weeks in January. So anyone who wants to be a guest, all you got to do is go on our website and sign up. It's super easy.
Well, we always ask our guests if they have a special scripture that they like or a quote. And what we got from you was Romans chapter 8, verses 38 and 39, which says, I'm convinced that nothing can separate us from God's love in Christ Jesus our Lord. Not death or life, not angels or rulers, not present things or future things, not powers or height or depth, or any other thing that is created.
And I think you all, if you were watching at the beginning of the show, know why this verse is so important to Kara and to everybody she serves.
We want to thank you very much for getting up and doing your CrossFit early and coming to be with us.
It's been a pleasure to interview
Thank
you.
you.
Contact us if we can do anything for you, and likewise, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And we will see you at September 28th or sooner. I know Sue and a couple of people from our church have been going to the Chosen, or at least trying.
Yes.
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 It's been very interesting. So,
Yes.
Yeah. Great conversation afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah.
great. So if you would like to learn more about the good news of Jesus Christ, be sure to join Pastor Tim for devotions live at 9, Monday through Thursday on Facebook, and join us Sundays at 10 a.m. for worship. It's live streamed on Facebook and YouTube, or in person in our sanctuary in Allen Park, Michigan. And if you'd like to be a guest with us on a Friday of your choice, go to allenparkpres.org/the-good-news and get all the info, pick an open Friday, fill out the form, hit submit, and then join us at 9 a.m. on your Friday for conversation and coffee if you drink the stuff.
Yep.
So, and we hope you'll join us for next Friday's The Good News Live at 9, when our guest will be Pastor Beth Delaney from Southminster Presbyterian Church in Taylor. And remember, you are a beloved child of God, and God loves you, and so do we.
Thanks again, Kara.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for all who've been watching. And if you've missed some of this, it'll be available later on our YouTube channel. Everyone have a great week. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Hope to see you next Friday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.